What is going on, guys? Joey here, and today we're doing one of these. We're doing one of these. So I'm not on camera. It is extremely hot. To film this in the garage without the fan on is like, I just look like I'm dying. So we're gonna do it. I'm in front of the gym right now. Car is on, AC is on, so hopefully it doesn't sound too bad. But I just wanted to check in with you guys, put something out there because it's been like a week, and I'm watching a show, and I feel like the lessons in that show can be quite useful. I am gonna make an anime reference. If you guys aren't into anime, don't worry. I'm gonna tie it into lifting. I used to do videos like these in the past, and I actually think that it was a nice, refreshing thing to observe. But for those of you that don't know, Kaiju number 8 is back, and I didn't really know much about this show, but basically there's a scene or an arc where you have a bunch of younger competitors, students, right? So relate that to powerlifting, young powerlifters, and they're competing against each other. And, everybody's kind of getting to know each other and things like that. And one thing that they mentioned that definitely ties to powerlifting that I don't know if kids actually realize, or maybe they know of it, they just haven't felt it or experienced it. One of the guys was saying, wow, like I'm working really hard and I'm competing for something, but there's always somebody right behind me, and there's always somebody right in front of me that I'm chasing after. And if I let up on the gas, the guy in front of me is just gonna gap me, or they're gonna make that gap wider, and then the guy behind me is gonna catch me. And it was just very interesting seeing that in a show like that. I can't even remember last time I dealt with something like that on a show, just watching something like that. And I thought about powerlifting, and I'm like, yeah, that actually is a very common thing, especially now as things are getting more competitive. There was another scene later where the main character said something along the lines of, I have to keep in mind that no matter how hard I want or I'm working for something, there's literally somebody else that is working their ass off to take that away from me. And that I thought was just, that is so true. That is so true. And I'll kind of break that down. There's even a part where one of the teachers, right? I was going to say sensei, but one of the teachers was talking to one of the kids, and he's like, well, I'm not going to give up. Like, I know you want to rise through the ranks, right? I'm not going to give up my slot. You're not taking it from me. You're going to have to take it out of my dead body. You know what I mean? And it's such an interesting thing. And I think that there are many aspects to that in powerlifting. And I think it can be a very complex topic if you really want to break it down. I'm just going to try to go over a little bit in this video. But that's 100% true. If you have a lifter that wants something or has a goal, you have to find the right federation or find the right competition where you can sort of get the thing that you want out of it. If your goal obviously is to be the best, I mean, there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to want that too, right? It didn't used to always be like that. It used to be, if you kind of took the sport somewhat serious, you could get a free lunch, so to speak. But things have definitely changed, and it's definitely, there's no more free lunch. There's like 2 weight classes where that happens now, maybe 1. You could make an argument for 3, but I just definitely think that things are definitely getting harder. And one thing that I think about often is, I have 2 competitors right now that are like neck and neck. I'd say they're within like 5 or 10 kg of each other, which is literally like 1 attempt. So if you're within 1 attempt of each other, I wouldn't even consider like a bench attempt a big one, because that could just, 2 kg on either lift can kind of erase that. But if you're that close to somebody and you're ahead of them right now, and you guys don't have the exact same competition schedule, it is probably like they will probably best you one of these times off of sheer just being in a better spot than you, just being able to have, you know, more favorable conditions than what you have. They're probably going to be able to chip you on one of those meets or something like that. And that's like a tough thing to deal with, right? But understanding those circumstances, and making sure that you're doing everything that you can do to continue to improve and stay ahead, it's really important. And I think you have to kind of really decide what you want. And I think people come into this sport and they look at all the wins, you know, they look at all the things that you can get and the following you can build and everything that you can do from having some merit and all the opportunities you can earn, which I will do a video on that later, just opportunities in powerlifting. And they don't realize that, like, it's not for everyone, and it's actually, you're going to have to, like, work really, really hard for it. Now, I think if you can, you know, maintain, like, a top 3 spot and you have a good personality, and you post often, you can still build a following. You can probably still get sponsors. I mean, there's guys right now that I think of. They're not the best lifter, but they definitely have a couple sponsors. There's a lot of things that go into it, but, you know, it really depends what you want to get out of the sport. And I think that you have to be willing to look at yourself in the mirror or have your coach or somebody tell you, you know, if you're saying, I want to be the best that I can be, and you're taking days off and you're not eating right and you're not doing the things that you need to do, your competitor might not have those issues, and they might be doing all the things that they need to do to continue to close that gap or widen the gap between you and them, right? And it is an interesting thing, and it's something that I do think about often, is if I am at a meet with my lifter and I want my lifter to win, and I really do, you know, I am a fan of another lifter in that weight class, there can only be one champion, you know what I mean? And sometimes there's meets and it feels like everybody wins, like everybody just went so crazy that it didn't even matter how the actual, I mean, obviously, like, first place matters, right? But everybody did so good. Like, there's been, like, UFC fights that I've seen, and it's like, bro, they both won. Like, it was so crazy that just the effort that was given was so absurd on both ends that like literally just give them both the bonus, if you know what I mean. So it is something that I think about, and I wonder sometimes if my lifter is the one, just one flex boy in between this lifter achieving their dreams, right? Does that build resentment towards myself or my lifter? I'm curious. I'm very curious. I don't know. Me personally, if I could think of some examples of that, like like on the flip side, I don't feel a resentment towards that lifter at all. I think that without that lifter, without that person to chase, maybe we don't go as hard. I actually know that we won't, because I have multiple examples of lifters being at the top with no one to chase. There's kind of nobody left, and then you just kind of let your foot off the gas a little bit. But it was an interesting thing. It there can, in some senses, there can only be one. And people are going to work really hard to try to get those goals and opportunities. For other people, they're going to work really hard to get those goals and opportunities. It's not going to be what it's cracked up to be. Some people are going to try to fake it till they make it. And then when they actually start getting what comes with that, they're not going to want to be that anymore. Or they're going to realize, yeah, this is more than I bargained for, or I do not have the necessary facilities in order to, continue to maintain this. And one thing that comes to mind when I think of this is, like, champions. Becoming a champion is one thing, but staying there is like, it's probably the most exhausting thing you're ever going to do. Ever. Because your entire life has to be geared towards that, because you have everybody else trying to get that spot. And people get tired of it. Like, they get tired of you being there, and they want someone else there. They don't even care if it's not themselves. They just want somebody else there. And it's just kind of how humans are, and we see it in everything. We see it in all different kinds of sports. We see it in I see with companies, like there's just a company that's been on top for so long, everybody just wants the next company to come in, or they just want to buy the thing that's literally not them anymore because they're just so tired of seeing it. So it is a very interesting thing. And I thought it was so great to watch, that shows like, probably young people are going to see it. And I don't know if they're going to catch that. And one of the things about sayings like that, or trying to point out a trope or a theme, is that theme could actually be very significant in their life and what they're dealing with, but they're not going to realize it till they're older or later on, where they go, okay, damn, like when that show was talking about XYZ, like I'm experiencing that now, and it hits so much harder. So whoever wrote that show, they've been through some shit. They've done some competitions. They also talk about no matter how hard you work, there's going to be somebody out there that's like, they're just naturally better than you at it. And you don't realize it till you put some time in, or time is like part of the reason why you start to fall back a little bit. I think we have very few examples in the sport of people that have been around for a really, really long time. As far as being a lifter, I mean, I've been around for like 10 years coaching, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Taylor Atwood's someone who comes to mind. Russ is getting up there. Taylor was a little before us, though. He was like 2 years before us, I think. And it's just very interesting to see, like, just now, I think we're starting to get, with the way modern training, with modern techniques and applications, we're starting to see how long can lifters last, how long can lifters progress, and what is the limit? Is there a limit? I think the human body is survival is the number one thing, and it's always going to try to look for small ways to make you better at the thing that you're trying to do, as long as it can, unless you literally get so old that it's just like not happening. It's not possible. But as far as I know, up to 40, early 40s, mid 40s, there's some really good masters lifters out there. We'll see how things go. Anyway, just wanted to talk to you guys, put some things out there. What is the takeaway or the moral of the story? I guess the takeaway would be, if you want to be at the top, or you have a goal, you have to decide if your goal is to win the world title one time, then, you could look at that as somewhat balanced, right? You win it once, you give everything to get there, and then maybe you're like, okay, if I continue to try to maintain this, it's going to kill me, it's going to drain my entire existence, let me move on to something else. That's never going to happen. Usually when you win the first one, you want to do it again, or try to defend it a couple times. And then you defend it as long as you can until the sport gets like really, really young and the standard moves up. And then you just kind of have to decide, like, do I want to give 110% just to have my spot, when someone is going to give 80% to be at my level, and if they actually give 100%, they're going to beat me, right? That's like a tough thing to swallow, or to absorb when you get up there in age and lifting. And I can speak on this because I've been doing this for a little while. And then you have the younger lifter on the flip side that just sees the top, they want to go for it, and it's almost good that they're a little delusional, they don't know the reality of things, because they're just going to go for it. And I think unless you actually commit and go for something, you're never going to truly know. Whether that be, I never wanted to be the 120 kg world champion. I just wanted to progress and like do good things in the sport. And I did things that, if I was realistic when I started, it was not realistic, but I still did it. I made it realistic. Just like with this team, I've made a lot of things that we've done that I was told couldn't be done or haven't been done, or I'm better putting effort somewhere else, or it's a bad idea. My dad, rest in peace, he never wanted me to lift. He didn't like that I was powerlifting. he did not support my lifting. My mom was just being a mom. She was just concerned, but she always told me, you know, I could do anything I want to do and believed in me and stuff like that. So I don't know. Some things to think about. If you say you want to do it, give it everything, no regrets, and you'll learn along the way. And don't be afraid to, if it's not serving you anymore, if you lose your passion for something, move on to something else. One of the best things I ever did recently that I have been recently started like communicating about is, you know, going back to one of my earlier passions, which was competitive card games, because just the way my brain works, I'm good at them. You know, I've succeeded in 3 different ones, and I don't know. I just have a good process for preparing for those types of things. And when I apply it across different things, it works out. It worked in powerlifting. I literally believe that the reason I am where I am today and I've done what I've done in the sport is because of the lessons that I learned, not only playing sports, but it has nothing to do with like actual powerlifting. It's just the way that you approach a thing that you want to be good at. And I've just always been, I knew something was different about me when like my competition is like practicing for things. Like my rest is practicing for something. If I want to do it. So I don't know. Anyway, enough rambling. Going to NAPF soon. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to try to make some history with Russ. What else we got going on? Couple of meets at the end of the year. Might have a big announcement. Maybe 2 big announcements. We'll see. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, guys. Let me get some video topics in the comments down below. Questions for Q&A. Are you guys down for another workshop? Whatever you guys want to do. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.